So I'm coming on quickly just for like a couple of seconds and I am sleepy. It's going to be some heavy rain because I'm sleeping like out of nowhere for real. Um, a couple of things that I want to say is that pertaining to 404B that I was discussing earlier, it's most definitely I feel like if it's just revised or rephrased to the judge, then he possibly can reconsider it because he did say that it's some things that can be redacted or, you know, concerning like the evidence or whatever. So, um, I might have to do this tomorrow, even though I said that I wouldn't. But I will just say this last little part since I talked about 404B. Um, I would say I would argue that foundation was already created because the state had already argued. They had already argued that they didn't have to have any foundation to admit the evidence. So, therefore, because they didn't have to have any foundation, the argument can be the foundation was already established when it comes to 404B. And I'm going to see, I may come back and do this again. But yeah, those are my thoughts on that. It's just all about rephrasing it and making sure that it's straight to the point, and the less confusion the judge has to hear is the better. Yeah. And I messed up on his saying earlier. It was a 4-1 judge. It's a happy judge. That's what he says. And when it comes to Mr. Matthews, that's why his questioning is where I was talking about in my live how um, where the $200 wasn't reported, or put in a case file, from the individual, like just trying to pay him or whatever. But yeah, I might have to do this over. I'm so sleepy, like with it, but I'm gonna do it anyway, and then come back and do it over, and then that'll be the last one for sure when I come back. But I'm gonna go ahead and sketch this on out since I already talked about it, you know. So Mr. Matthews is smooth. His lining of questioning was just on point, straight target, and it was true because if you was investigating someone, how could you not, for everything that you saying you investigated this group on, then how could you not pin that for evidence or give it to the probation officer to show something, right? So, anyways, like I say, it be dirty officials too, dirty people in charge too, and I could very well tell that that witness was most definitely rehearsed because he could not follow along on questions asked on his own when he wasn't working off the script. It seems like he would get lost in questioning. So, I was, in my opinion, in my vision, I feel like he was rehearsed anyway because you only had 4 pages, 4 pages of a report, number one, that I don't even feel like he created at the end of the day. It just is what it is. I just don't feel like that report is accurate. It's something about it that's not right. Um, at the end of the day, and just for it to be 4 pages, I most definitely think that Adams did a great job, most definitely, because he was able to pin out even though the witness answered yes, and then when Miss Love asked him, he said he don't recall. That's why if it's already been asked, and answered or whatever, or if it's already been the answer has already been given, that's why it's good to just move on, which that's what, Mr. Adams was, trying to push. His testimony is his testimony, and that's right. But he most definitely did acknowledge that could have been promo, because it happened before everything went down, and it could have very well been promo. And he did answer yes. And then I do like the way that Mr. Adams also pointed out, how did those two videos get put together like that? Did you do that in your investigation? No. Was it handed to you like that? Okay. So somebody making up their narrative as they go, or whatever, which, sometimes that's what, forms a case or whatever, but it wasn't played in those times together. Those was in 2 different months, and so on and so forth, and it was put together as if it all ran together. So presentation and how you present the information is everything. Just leave it in its context, because it will always check out true in the context. And that's another thing that I've always said about this case, how it'll be reversed and then go forward with, what I'm saying, they'll talk about something in the past, then hop to the future and stuff like that. Like, that's how you really don't have a solid case, solid foundation, so on and so forth. It's just wherever the chips may fall, rather. So anyways, I do like that he pointed that out, most definitely. And for Mr. Short, I thought he did good too. With what the driver of the tour bus actually saw, so on and so forth. Or, the driver of the car that was cited. He's good. He's just, it's all about how presentation. Yep. Just revise. He be having some points. It's just how it's presented, and then it gives, when you leave loopholes and everything, like I always talk about, it just gives them room to, maybe for objection, or to take your piece and make their own piece out of it, something like that. So, yeah, but I thought the lawyers did really good. Yeah, for the defense. That was good. Very good, very good. Just that. And I do not believe that Biden is leaving Israel wide open. Like, he's not doing that. He's just saying that you're not going to continue to kill innocent people, because right now you have the upper hand. And of course, he's not going to let anyone mess with Israel, because they are our allies. He's just not leaving them high and dry, because there's no one fighting them back. Now, if somebody, which would be stupid, if they decide to start bombing and stuff like they tried, but that was only because Israel struck one of their, struck something on their land. Oh, that almost scared the mess out of me. So, I jumped so hard. So, anyways, like I was saying, so that most definitely, that was one of the concerns that I see not many people, but, some reports that was released. I did see that on there, where people was just like making it seem like Biden just, that he's just leaving them hanging, leaving Israel hanging, and that's just not what's going on. Again, they had the upper hand. They're the aggressors at this point. Nobody is fighting them back, and because nobody is fighting them back, there's really no need to release more weapons if you just slaughtering innocent people at the end of the day. And then, in addition to that, there was also the attack, not the attack, with the illegal citizens not voting. I agree with that. I mean, if they're not, legal citizens, then why should they be voting? I didn't know that they did. I got to hear the other side to this story before I make, judgment or give commentary on this particular situation. But just looking at it for where it stands at, I agree. I mean, at least let them be, legal citizens, to be able to vote and vote right. Like, I agree with that. Um, you know, how can they get their citizenship, valid? Maybe it's still a process that's still waiting, so on and so forth. But I just haven't known of illegal citizens voting. I just don't think that that's been going on. And if I'm wrong, then, I'm sure we'll hear about it soon. But I always talk about how if you pass one bill, you should have something to balance it out, because we know that Democrats and Republicans have different views, and that's all fine and everything. But we have to meet some type of common ground, some type of solutions, because we know not all people are all Democrats and Republicans. We're all people, here in the United States. And because of that, I feel like if you're going to have illegal citizens, a voting bill passed attached to that, it needs to also be pointed out that brown and black voters' rights should never be revoked or tampered with, nor should they ever be considered, whether or not to vote, because they're citizens. So most definitely, if they're going to take the time out to pass a bill as such, it shouldn't even have to be did in this way. But just because the idea has been threatened, to the citizens here in the United States of America, that's black and brown individuals, their voting rights should never be tampered with or revoked in any by any means necessary. And I don't know the reasoning why people think that that should be so, when any type of act right is what it is, because then that would be like saying, women shouldn't have the right to vote, or so on and so forth. Any right or act that's amended to the Constitution is the Constitution. And they were, they're put there for a reason. At the end of the day, to make this nation for all and not just one race. At the end of the day, so it's like the House got have more work to do before election time. 6 more months, and in those 6 more months, I just hope that all the chaos and confusion is most definitely being eliminated, such as, again, voting systems, making sure that the votes are counted. Just because you don't want any type of disagreements, or room for anyone to do anything to cheat. Most definitely, these are things that's important. Make sure there's no type of delays, or anything like that. Like, it just is what it is. And I think it was Hillary Clinton that was on MSNBC, and I think she was saying, I just read the title, I didn't get to look at the interview, but I think she was saying, like, justice delayed is justice denied. And I would say that I'm not even sure how the former president can even run with pending charges. It seems like these charges would have to have already been, he would have had to go to court for each charge in order to even run, because that's just like telling a convicted felon that they can have a job regardless of them being a convicted felon. I always talk about the importance of, you know, um, you know, all understanding that, because right now he's not the president, so he's a citizen of the United States, and all other citizens, most definitely, would have to sit out and couldn't do a job or something like that. And I understand if he goes to jail because, Secret Service would have to be with him because he was a former president, but I don't still think that that really holds, the former president part holds weight in the eyes of the court, which is why no matter how much someone delays something, I mean, I'm sure is something that says that, he shouldn't have any charges before. I mean, he shouldn't have any pending charges before he's able to run. I could be wrong on that, but it should be something, in somewhere. So we'll see, how that goes. And it's almost like when I read that title, Justice Delayed is Justice Denied, like sometimes that can make citizens feel so hopeless, because it's like we're telling you exactly what we would like you to do and what our concerns are, and we identify the problems. It's just when people in these in leadership cannot do anything about these problems, that's when, it kind of makes it like, well, what do you want us to do if you can't do anything about it? So I would just, most definitely, if I was a leader and I had a citizen to tell me what I just said, I would be trying to get to the bottom of, can he actually still run for the presidency with pending charges? You talking about justice delayed is justice denied. What are you gonna do with what? Like, because we can't do anything but vote. At the end of the day, that's all we can do is vote and protest on it. That's about all we can do. We don't have any pull inside. So if one felt like justice would be denied, then if I was in any type of authority to make something happen, I'll be trying to find out about that for sure. But yeah, that's about it. This wasn't nothing big. I just wanted to clear that up and just know that I'm pretty sure that if Israel was being attacked, and you almost hate to say stuff like that, because then some people attack themselves and make it seem like it was something just to say, oh, we needed help. You know what I mean? Like somebody's attacking us like crying wolf, and it sometimes it's really not that way. But as of now, and as the world has seen, they have most definitely been the aggressors. They have been the one that has been succeeding. So there's no need to really go ahead and keep destroying and killing and bombing innocent people at the end of the day. And the United States always have Israel back. Like anybody mess with Israel, the United States is coming. So I don't understand what's all the big fuss about. It's just saying you're not getting anything right now because you have won. There's millions dead, and you got and some more millions just trying to make it the best way that they can. Every time you look around and get a little better, you want to bomb, the way that they get their food, the way that they get their water, and you just constantly oppressing them for something that just wasn't their fault at the end of the day. So I absolutely understand where President Biden is coming from for that. from that perspective. And I just pray that peace be amongst all, for sure, that just keep the Palestinians in your prayers and just pray that pure justice will be served. That's just like for Israel. If could you imagine if the Holocaust would have never stopped, and how many people died in the Holocaust, and you sitting over there doing the same thing to those people over there? That's just wrong. Like, you wouldn't want, and if it was them that was the aggressor, you would be wanting them to stop. So it just is what it is. It's just crazy. So just be mindful, be open minded when it comes to things like this, and you know, know that it will be well, it shall be well, it shall be good. That's what we hope for, that's what we pray for. Stay hopeful, stay true, and I may not even come back and do this over because I pretty much feel like I covered everything and I said everything that needed to be said. Sorry I'm talking so low, but I'm just trying to, have my little manners, and I started out sleepy as well. So, and that's exactly what I'm about to probably do in just a moment. But make sure that you enjoy your night, and again, have a great weekend later.